schedule changed. Did you use the Zoom video?
It connected to the wrong account.
But it's okay. And that's an this was.
It was packed.
Did you go?
No, I had to pick up Jake from the train. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was
They were
packed.
there for 5 hours,
Yeah, they were there.
Kate said. but there were other things on the agenda.
Yeah, when I don't, did I go back out? I don't know, but like, I saw people there at like 10 o'clock at night, I thought.
Yeah,
I don't think
they
they
did.
got out of there
Yeah,
till-
Kate said they started at 6:30 because they wanted to do things that have been on the docket, you know.
Okay, it's going.
Okay,
Well, the
Yay.
students doing a bunch of stuff.
can you maximize, oh, thank you, bless you. Okay,
Oh, Annie.
I guess we
Annie?
should,
No one can. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I guess we could call it to order at 7:05.
Sure.
Okay. We don't have any public here, so we can move along to the approval of the minutes. I think we addressed all of the changes this week, so they look pretty good to me.
I actually have a red circle here under the executive session.
Uh-huh,
I think maybe something got changed and then what was supposed to get deleted didn't. Like at the end, it says executive session closed at 8:25 by Ethan All. Returned to regular meeting, opened at 8:25. I'm just confused why there's,
Because you have to close the executive session, then open the regular meeting and close the regular meeting.
oh, is
Just
that
like
what that's supposed to be?
you
Yeah.
go out of the regular meeting into the executive session, out of the executive session into the regular meeting, close the regular meeting.
Okay,
yes.
That's the only thing I knew, and Ethan had to help me with other stuff, so.
okay. So who actually made the motion then to approve Sandy?
Which, never mind.
At the end, the executive session.
I did make sure that I don't know, I have like 4 versions of this, but there was definitely one that said that Sandy was approved, and then we went out of the executive no, we went out of the executive session, approved Sandy, and then out of the, like, we did it all, we closed, went out of the executive session, opened the regular session, approved Sandy, and closed the regular session in 1 minute.
Right, because, but it says the board voted unanimously to approve Sandra Koch.
Right, that's not
But
okay.
It doesn't show who made the motion to approve Sandy. It shows that we made the motion to re-enter the regular session.
Yeah, that's part of the, everybody said, yeah, we do it, and I didn't catch who said what, so let me look. Okay,
The videotape.
you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some help with the minutes, because remember I banged my head, I didn't know what I was writing. No, I kind of knew what I was writing. Ethan, all right, I will change that. Ethan made the motion to approve Sandy Koch. Darren seconded, all approved.
There you go. I
Okay,
thought that's how it was supposed to go. Thank you, Kenda.
Yeah, I had some help, things get changed around, and I said, all right, that sounds okay, I'll go with that. But it was the wrong thing to go with, okay, because I had it right the first time.
Yep.
I think.
Other than that, I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve.
all in favor? Aye.
Hi,
Who seconded? Sorry.
Patrick.
Oh, sorry. I
Thank
moved
you,
it.
Patrick. And I will make that change.
Okay. We need to do the bills. What is that? Got it into that. Okay, so we have. So again, we have a second month of being confused about what gets paid and what doesn't get paid before the board approves it. But we're getting, I think, closer to it. There was a little kerfuffle about Mid-Hudson, so we're gonna have to verify. Oh, there's Alexis. Alexis, you said we pay Mid-Hudson. Do we have a contract with them that states?
Oh,
we
yeah, an
monthly?
old contract.
Okay.
Okay,
If you look at the latest minutes, which went out with Cap F, that's clarified.
okay. Okay, but, okay, Ted and I were having a conversation, so we're still some of us are still confused.
Because I went back and looked at the YouTube, and I was still confused because there's a lot of talk, everybody's talking and talking over each other, and I wrote down what I thought I heard and I didn't hear the right thing. So Alexis.
So, I mean, Mid Hudson's one of those things that it's kind of weird in the sense that I think part of the conversation that we had about it is that if we want to be safe, yes, there's a contract, but the amount changes every year. I usually get that information by like October, November as to what our annual fees are. They go up every year. But there is a contract, so it would technically fall within the guidelines, but it's also not one of those things that if we don't pay it immediately, they're not going to cut off our services. We'd have to be like 6 months delinquent before they even reach out to us. So if it's not a pressing thing like the telephone bill or internet or trash services or those types of things are. It's kind of one of those more fluid things. But technically, from the comptroller's perspective, we could pay it as soon as we get it.
Okay. Fine. Does that answer your question?
No.
No.
No, because one time you said yes, one time you said no.
Okay.
It's
well,
not me then, okay.
And
Thank
if you
you.
have a contract, where is it?
I mean, I'm sure Mid Hudson has a copy. It was signed back when we got into the Mid Hudson library system in 1984 was when it was started. I mean, it's part of our contract with Mid Hudson along with every other contract that we, and actually there's going to be a new contract that we'll have to review regarding that I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now. Our sharing standards, shelving sharing standards are changing to include digital, that we have to meet a certain requirement for our digital
that contract,
contribution to
yeah.
the system. So, I mean, I'm sure Mid Hudson has copies of all those contracts, but they were signed probably before even Ted.
I haven't seen one in all these years, so.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm
regard-
hearing, there's no penalty if we pay that late. So
yeah,
that can
so-
stay on the
So why
list to
don't we-
wait till the
yeah,
board meeting.
Okay,
There's no need to even, split that hair.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those things that we have to worry about too much.
then we'll go back to holding that. Ted also asked me about Abigail and Kurt. When you refresh them, do you fill out a new contract with them, or it's just?
No, because technically we could say, tomorrow we can't afford it, so, we're not gonna offer this.
So we
this
should also
program.
probably kick those to the board meeting as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
Yeah,
sheet,
I think that's a messy situation.
okay,
the sheet that you have,
yep.
if you look on the right-hand side,
Mm-hmm,
I split it down.
okay,
The ones that we can send and the ones that we should hold.
okay,
Now, you should look this over, and if you have a problem with,
right,
then you should let me know.
okay.
Okay, so Abigail Gallagher then would have been a hold.
Would
Right.
be-
Or should change to a hold.
Unless, don't forget, she was approved.
Well, see, she's,
The one on
She-
518 was approved.
okay,
At the board meet, correct, on the May 16th board meeting, right? So I
Right.
need to go below the line here.
But if you look at the 614 one for her, it's still being held.
right,
Okay, I see.
okay.
Do we have a contract with Nelson? Do we sign something with Nelson?
He's payroll.
Okay, but he's an at-will employee. We don't have a contract.
We've always considered him payroll.
Okay.
That's a gray
He's not
area.
listed under payroll though. He's listed in a regular expense column.
He's listed in the
professional
budget under
services.
payroll.
I mean, I honestly don't have a problem either way.
Mhm.
I mean, just if we're gonna split this hair, let's
Right.
do it
right,
and
let's
be
keep
done with
splitting
it,
yeah.
you know?
No, I know, that's. okay. Do we need to vote on this, quibble about this some more? I agree with you, is that we should do it as standard as possible. In the budget line, in the report, he is listed under payroll. Is that? that's what
Independent
you-
contractor.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little bit gray from the comptroller's perspective.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up the law really quick,
Okay,
just double check.
oh, okay.
Give me
When I
one.
was when I was at the session that brought all of this up to my attention, it sounded so clear cut that I thought this was just a clear, easy peasy way to solve this, but it's clearly like if every other issue is a gray zone or, so.
Can we go back to Mid Hudson for a second? Are we leaving Mid Hudson on the list? Everything has to be approved anyway.
Right,
And the new contract is coming out, and take it off and then put it back on and. Any idea?
I think Mid Hud. It's great too.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
according to the New York State Comptroller. The laws for the pre-audit, which is what we're discussing. I'm gonna just read verbatim what it says on payments not requiring pre-audit.
Okay,
Certain payments generally may be made without going through the routine claims auditing process. Generally, these payments are approved through some other authorization process or are the result of statutory requirements, existing contractual commitments, or some other required obligation. They include fixed salaries of officers or employees regularly engaged at agreed upon wages by the hour, day, week, month, year, or other authorized period, including any payroll withholding. So I think Nelson would fall within that category because we agree on our budget sessions to pay him at a monthly rate. Principal or interest payments on debt, payments made pursuant to a court order, amounts due upon lawful contracts for periods exceeding 1 year, and retirement contributions by participating employers in New York State and local retirement system as billed by the Office of the State Comptroller. There's an additional one down here for the utility overview, which we discussed at a few other meetings, and it's long, so I don't know that you want me to sit here and read it.
I think Mid-Hudson falls into that other area.
Yes.
Because it is something that we have a longstanding agreement with them to pay them their fees. I think that's where that falls.
If we're saying that Mid-Hudson will be paid when the bill comes in, that's fine with me.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Yep,
Pick one and stick with it, right?
I think it's okay to question it because this is a change.
Yeah.
But I think listening to that description, I think it falls into that other area.
And then when the new contract comes out, somebody hold on to it.
Well, we should be doing that, yes.
There's a digital copy somewhere. I just wasn't prepared to go with it today.
Okay. Are there any other questions about cap 230620F?
There's a professional fee on the Bank of Millbrook credit card for June 14th. It just says professional fee. It doesn't say who it was or what it was.
Oh, that was the payroll, the scheduling system for the payroll.
For 163.20.
Yes.
Okay, and then we had talked about that
Mhm.
last meeting, so. Okay. So can I have a motion to approve cap?
I make the motion to approve cap at 230620F in the amount of $17,921.85.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Darren, I'll add that fee was for 12 months. It's not just a monthly fee that we'll be paying.
And that
Thank
was clear and Curie, okay,
Curie seconded and all in favor?
Hey,
okay.
Something right on, I've lost the agenda in my pile. I'm up, yes, I'm up. The reality is that I'm up and my report is gonna say that I didn't get all the petition stuff together, so we're not gonna vote on that tonight. I did talk to the lawyer today. He thinks we should have all the ducks in a row and all the pieces signed appropriately numbered, dated, before we endorse them, and then forward them to the town clerk. So we are going to have to set up a very quick meeting. I'm gonna say maybe in a week and a half, if we can do it on a Saturday quickly. The first, I don't know, are people gonna be away? No? Oh, God. Are people gonna be in town?
July 1st is fine. Oh, do you need me for this?
I'm
Actually,
sorry, what?
Do you need me for that? You don't need me for, well, I guess
So-
it doesn't matter.
I'd like to.
I was saying that I'm available. We have an event that day, but it'll be over by 2:00. So I
Okay.
just, if you need space in the library to meet, I would suggest you do it after 2:00. That was my input.
Oh, okay. Um. Just don't want to keep pushing it down the road.
Or you could do it at 9 a.m.
What are people around that weekend?
Yes, yes, I'm around.
Okay,
I'm
that's,
around. I'm not here.
okay. Is 9 a.m. just got awful early for everybody, or can we do that?
I
No.
can-
Yes, but we'll do it.
Okay, we're gonna have to post it as a public meeting. And send out. I don't know if Ethan will be able to be there. And just the forms I'm getting back from the lawyer. Do indicate that it's a roll call vote, not just a show of hands, so, so you're all prepared for that. So we're saying Saturday at 9, the July 1st. Now,
Do you want it to be like a workshop meeting, a petition workshop? Like, what do you want me to put it as when I do the announcement on the website that we're having a meeting?
it's a special meeting, to vote. Looking at the documents from Clinton, I think they did the same thing. So you maybe get the wording of that. Other than that, we're actually in good shape with the numbers. We have, with Darren, we have 150%. With Darren's wife, we're just over 150%. So we're doing pretty good. But if anybody else wants to sign it before July 1 or June 30th, let me know. Because we could probably still take a couple of signatures. And I feel like this is all I've done for the last month, so I think I will end my report there. Ted, you're up.
Okay. The income. Alexis raised $48.79 for the library historical tour. Amazon Smiles was $23.95. 3 people gave a total of $246.62. Kathleen Augustine gave us a specific grant for $2,500, and the town of Pine Pines kicked in $99,500.
Exciting.
What was the specific grant for?
Literacy.
Okay,
Literacy?
She was literacy programs, books, whatever you need. So I'm still developing a plan of how to utilize it.
Did anybody else hear that Amazon Smiles is going away? Did anybody,
I hadn't heard that, but.
I think I read an article about that somewhere because the fire department I belong to used to participate with that as well. And I think they sent out a thing that they had been notified that Amazon Smiles wasn't going to be a thing anymore.
My CPA mother is waving me that it is going away over
It
here.
is going- Okay. Thanks, Mom.
Really, we didn't, we get it too. They didn't send us a note. But whatever.
I think people forget to sign in to Smiles, so.
No, they just send you the money
Mhm.
without you asking. for it.
No, I know, but I
No,
mean,
but
like,
when you spend
you
money
buy-
on Amazon, you have to log in with a special link in order for it to benefit the library or whatever charity
Yeah,
you're.
yeah. Okay, okay, so. Any questions on the expense report? Or the revenue report?
No, I would have liked to have seen the $3,000 we spent on the website not going to utilities, but I don't know where else to put it. So I guess we're just kind of gonna have to leave it there, but there wasn't, it's in the best spot, the best fit, so.
I debated that too. I understand what you're saying.
I have a question on the expense report. I think I see underneath library programs, summer reading, and the amount in May was 50. I'm pretty sure in another document, something says summer reading, Jonathan Kruk, $400. How do those two relate to each other?
Well, I think this $50, and it's hard to tell without me looking, and I could probably pull it up, but this $50 was for a deposit for one of the programmers. I don't know if it was for Jonathan Kruk, but we have our 6 performances at the summer camp that we provide, or that we support, and it's open to the public so anybody can attend, but it's hosted at the Lions Club during the summer camp, which takes up usually about $3,000 a summer just for those programs. So Jonathan Kruk was one of those programmers. I believe this $50 was the deposit for another programmer. I don't think it was the same one. Does that answer your question?
No, but I'm also trying to see where I saw that $400.
It's in the cap on June 14th of 23.
Yep.
That'll show up on
Oh.
next month, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, this is the.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, the Jonathan Kruk bill was our last performer to, I think, finally pay off. So you'll see that reflected on the expense report next month.
Got it.
Yeah, it's on the cap we just approved to pay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other things to say, Ted? No? Okay,
All is well.
okay,
I'll make a motion, we approve the financial report.
a second. All in favor? Hi.
Aye.
Kenda was looking like she wanted to know who seconded it. I think you're muted, Kenda. Kenda, you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I couldn't see who, I heard the voice, but I couldn't see where it was coming from. Thank you.
You're up.
Everyone needs to learn sign.
Yes. Alexa, you're up.
Oh boy. Okay, so things are going well. Circulation's up. I think it's only by about 8%, which is a little bit under where my year goal is, which is between 10 and 15%. But considering it's 8% during one of our slower parts of the season, and we haven't even hit summer yet, I'm pretty happy with that. You have all the statistics there. The only other thing I want to point out is that our programming was up almost 300% last month. And we increased programs. We only had an increase of 15% of programs.
The 358 attendance, that includes the book sale?
Yes.
Did we not previously count the book sale
No,
attendance?
it's in my report, or it's in my countings for last year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, but I think, and Jean's there. Yeah, I can see you.
Yep.
We had a large amount of people to me this year, but I also wasn't. Well, Jean, were you there last year? I don't remember. No, I'm thinking.
Either.
at the book sale last year.
I was not, I was at Cornell.
Mm,
Right. I feel like we had a larger turnout this year, but it's not just that. Story time. We had a story time last month that had almost 30 people in it.
wow, okay.
I mean, that's parents and kids, but story time has really taken off. So anyways, overall
We
usage.
actually had more people at the book sale than what Mary reflected. Because she didn't count any of us that were there.
Right.
And believe me, most of us bought books.
Yeah.
So we participated also.
Right. So the big things I wanted to bring up are, first of all, I'd like to give Annie a shout out. I don't know if she's in earshot right now, but I had a very wonderful note. I'm going to embarrass her, that I would like to read. I just have to exit out and get to the right screen here. But I would like to read a letter that was sent to me about Annie. And this was the perfect opportunity to do it while she's there. So this comes from our volunteer, Deanne Campbell, and she said, I just wanted to let you know that Annie has helped me be a better volunteer. When she discovered that I had difficulty logging into the volunteer computer because I misunderstood the password and username, jotted down on a sticky note, she typed them all up and posted it next to the computer so it'd be easier to read. She also patiently explained the book check-in process because I wanted to be more useful while Samantha was reading to the kids during story time and I wasn't of use. When I jokingly told her how many times I've accidentally sent a requested book to Pine Hill instead of Pine Plains, she went online and showed me how to change the default pickup library from Red Hook to Pine Plains, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. I didn't even realize I could do that. My point is that Annie is a good listener and very helpful librarian. She's a wonderful asset to the Pine Plains Free Library. So I just wanted to share that with the board and say thank you, Annie. Couldn't have gone through this with this vacation with as low amount of stress as I could have without her help. So thank you so much. Okay, back to the other things. Let me get back to my other screen. The big thing I want to say is I don't know if it's changed, but I'm still waiting on an update on what's going on with the lights in the library. We have several sections that are out or that were out as of the time that I left. I know the adult room is probably turned off at this point, but if you go turn the light on in there, you can't read in there. I've had several patrons complain. I've followed up with Amanda and Brian probably 2 or 3 times. I know that there was a plan, Brian told me, to have Genokio come in and redo the whole lighting. I don't know if it's the whole lighting system or just to replace all the bulbs to LEDs so that they don't go out as frequently and as easily as they do, particularly with the vibration going on upstairs when there's events. When I checked in with Amanda with that before I left, she said that she was still working with Brian to figure out what the status of that was and when a timeline when that would be completed. I'm guessing that they're waiting on the bulbs, or I'm guessing that they're not wanting to purchase bulbs, which makes sense if they're planning to do this project, but I just don't know when that timeline is going to be yet, and I haven't had an update. But I know some people have complained, so we're working on that. Sarah, I don't know if you have any updates on that issue.
I am not aware of the issue, but I can make suggestions to people.
Okay, that would be great. We have a very packed summer ahead of us. We have all of the, if you had the chance to read the newsletter, I just finished the flyer for it. We have the 6 performances going on at the Lions Club, as well as some really fun summer reading events, which will start with a summer reading kickoff party on July 1st from 10 to 2. We're finishing up all of our final details to have summer reading be a fun, engaging process this year. Let me see, what else did I want to highlight? The only other thing that I wanted to mention is we're introducing a few new programs. One I'm still working on called Sippin' Saturdays. So I'm trying to do, I've had a lot of requests for art and sip, like a paint and sip group, but unfortunately I can't do alcohol in the building. So I'm trying to find a venue for that. I reached out to the Stissing House and I haven't heard back yet. But my next stop will probably be Champetra and maybe Rosie's if I can coordinate that. The second thing is Annie's taking on a new nonfiction book club called Tea Time Tomes, which will be held at tea time every other month on Saturday at 3 p.m. And we're starting with a Vanderbilt book. So that's going to be, I think, a good group. And then the most exciting venture is I finally landed a volunteer for Saturday story times, which has been highly requested since last summer. And it's Molly Salisbury. She was the children's librarian at Scoville Memorial Library in Scoville or Salisbury, Connecticut. She's a retired librarian and she's coming in to do story hours on Saturdays at 10 a.m.
Great.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I think a lot of the parents are going to love that during the summer, and that will start July 1st as well. And it will be every Saturday, even past the summer. And I do have some backups in case she has to be out so that we can keep that program going all year long. I had some notes in here about potentially adding services. One of the things that we talked about was doing a notary service, ESL classes. But one of the things I wanted to bring up was the potential maybe down the road for homebound services. And the main reason I wanted to bring this up was if there's any insurance limitations that I should be aware of for that. I know several libraries use volunteers for this service, and I have a lot of volunteers that are interested in volunteering for the library. And frankly, I don't have enough for them to be able to do. But one of the things that I thought would be great is to introduce homebound services to our Pine Plains townspeople, only within the limits of Pine Plains, so that we can help them get books if they can't come to the library. But I wanted to bounce that off the board and make sure there's nothing that I'm not thinking of that could potentially be.
Could you explain to us what it means, what it is, how it works?
Yeah, so homebound services from some other libraries that do it. And I'm sorry that I'm blanking on which libraries have it, but I do have a list. It's just not with me at the moment. But the ones that I was looking at, they were volunteer based. So homebound services essentially allows a patron to call the library, or they reserve books online. And we put a note in the system. They have to sign up for it. We'd have a form on the website where they could call. But they would sign up for it, and we would put a note in the system saying that they're a homebound patron, which means that they can't come into the library, whether it's because of transportation issues, or maybe they can't drive, or maybe they're disabled, or for whatever reason. And instead of having to have them come pick up their items at the library, we would take them to their homes and drop them off. And then we could either come pick them up. So some libraries do a trade where they only allow 5 things checked out at a time. And when they want their next 5 things, they can put them on hold. But in order for them to get them at the door, they have to give back their 5 items when you come to drop them off. Some libraries are a little bit more flexible about it. But it essentially just allows people who can't get into the library to still utilize library services. If they're not digitally inclined or whatever, they can still access physical materials that they maybe need or want.
Okay. Is it basically a pickup and delivery service? Is that really the extent of it?
Yes.
Okay. If you, I wouldn't mind issue spotting on this a little bit. And if you could, because the only thing that I'm thinking of right away are things like, I think it's a good idea to have I'd like to see how other libraries do it. So if you can remember, and I'd be happy to reach out. The issues I'm thinking right now are like the volunteer, your insurance question is great. What would be covered under our insurance? We'd want to have a policy that says that these people cannot go into these people's houses.
Right.
Because that's a bad idea for a bunch of reasons. But I don't know that I can think of anything else. Insurance is one, and another is, as I just said, I don't know what the policies need to be other than you may not go into this person's house.
I think that we might want to do, I would wonder about sending people to somebody's front door, whether they're gonna want us to have done a background check on those volunteers. I don't know. I know my mother lives down near Adrian's. She sometimes goes in, but they also have someone who comes to the home that the complex she lives in, and picks up and drops off stuff. But that is that's an senior apartment complex, so it's a little different. But But I know, so they're doing something like that. We don't have any place like that in our town limits, so it'll be people's homes, so. We might want to look into whether we need to do background checks on those that we are sending to someone's front door. Just a thought.
Yeah, I mostly wanted to see, I wanted to get feedback before I put a whole bunch of effort into it and figure out what you guys would like to see out of it. And also just make sure that there's no, make sure that we're interested in providing a service like this. The inspiration was really a patron that called, and I knew that we had homebound services in San Antonio, so I kind of looked into how they did theirs, which they have a bigger staff, so their system for that is a lot more elaborate than what we could offer. But I do know other libraries in our system that offer it, and some of them are volunteer based, some of it's staff based. So I can reach out to them and figure out what their policies on it are. I do know that all of them require that you fill out a form. You have to be within the town limits that they serve. And I know that there's a few other things that were brought up, but I just really wanted to get some feedback as to whether we think that that's a service worth offering in our area.
I do, I think it's a great service. We'll have to be ready, set up to answer the phone and be able to help people on the phone, because they're not all gonna be able to go to the website and fill out a form online, so.
Right, yeah.
Did you say you had volunteers that are interested in this, or just you have volunteers that you think you could tap?
I talked to one of my particular volunteers that would be, I brought it up if it would be something that she'd be okay with doing. And she thought it was a great idea and that she'd be happy to help. But I haven't reached out to any other volunteers. I just know that I have a lot of interest for more volunteer services, and thought that this could be an additional thing that we could provide that would utilize volunteers in a positive way out in the community. And I do know that other libraries have used volunteers for that service. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out which one it was that I saw, because I just don't have my notes sitting with me right now. But I can find that out and bring it back to the board when I am a little bit more organized today.
No, I think it's a great idea. If we can work out the liability issues and if we can fund it with volunteers, I don't see a downside. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, I'll
get you the 10-15% circulation rate.
yeah, exactly.
Can't
It's
come
all
to us, we'll come to
strategic.
you.
Yeah, it's yeah. But I actually think it would help a lot of people out. They and it's hard. It's hard to get in the building, as we know. Our handicap accessibility is not the greatest, with the ramp being in the shape that it is, and the way that the doors are set up and everything.
In the
So I think
parking
it would-
lot, right?
Oh, the parking situation too. So I think that we have I think that would be a well-used service in our area if we offered it.
And would
So
it be available to anybody who wanted their library books delivered?
Jean's like, I'm not gonna have to come to the
That's it.
library anymore.
Or are you talking about people who can't come for whatever reason? That's something to think about.
yeah, we'll have to figure out the
Way that you
full.
set it up.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out the full logistics of it. And in the forms that I saw online, most of them just wanted to make sure that they were within the town limits. They didn't ask any specific reasons that they couldn't come. I know that somebody mentioned, a door pickup option, just a drop off versus just a drop off. So like in the mailbox or something versus somebody actually knocking on the door, you just do a drop and go type of thing. So there's a lot of ways that we could probably mold it to whatever specifications we want. But yeah. Patrick, I see your comment. Yeah, I need to reach out to Brett for another thing. So I'll bring up, that's a great idea. I
What's
think that
the comment?
Oh, sorry. He said try the Stissing Center for the sip and paints.
Oh,
Since they
that's
have
a good idea, yeah.
yeah, so I'll reach out I have to talk to him about a program that he's doing anyway, so I'll throw that in there. Yeah, so we're looking at expanding ESL classes as well. And Annie's been looking at potentially getting her, I guess it's a certification to be a notary, which I think we've talked about before. So these might be some additional services that we could provide in the future. And then the rest of this, mostly I wanted to talk about some fundraising ideas that I had. We have the cemetery tours coming up. Or Claire, do you want to wait until the committee report for this, or do you want to discuss it now?
I think you're on a roll, so go right ahead.
Okay.
It's just
I need
one,
to-
it's
I
one
need,
slot.
I need to jump as stated, and I just, I'm gonna shoot you a quick, meeting chat, where I have a few ideas on what you're talking about right now, but I gotta jump.
Okay,
Bye, sorry.
You're fine.
so that's a big, long chat.
So the cemetery tour this year, we decided not to do the inn for several reasons, or it was decided not to do the inn for several reasons, which was going to potentially add a higher ticket bracket for the fundraiser. So what we decided to do is, instead of doing that, we're and Claire can clarify more on this because she attended the last meeting, but we have decided to just add an additional donation option at the sign up form on Eventbrite to try and help make that fundraiser a little bit more impactful for us and for the Historical Society, while still keeping the cost the same as it has been for, in the past, and, keep that program what it is. But with that in mind, I started thinking about other fundraising opportunities that we have, and I've been doing a lot of research specifically with Rojan Library, because they fundraise more than half their budget. And I mean, they fundraise about $200,000 a year. So I was looking at how libraries do this because it exists and it's out there. And I had a few ideas. I talked about doing a bake sale. The only issue with the bake sale is I don't want to compete with other nonprofits in our area and churches. And I know that they do bake sales during the summer as well. I thought about coordinating a walkathon, which is something that Hudson does every year for their library. They do a ghost walk, which is in October. It's a walkathon. You could probably do it at the Lions Club and have it circle back and do some other activities as well. If we want to bring back the silent auction in the fall, like we did previously, prior to COVID, if that's something that we're interested in. And I'm throwing this in really fast. The main reason I'm thinking about this is because if we're going to do a big fall fundraiser outside of the cemetery tour, we need to start planning them now. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and do like we planned last year, which didn't get executed in time due probably to just time constraints, was doing our annual letter appeal after Thanksgiving this year. But I already have most of that stuff drafted and ready to go this year. So we won't have that problem, but we'll make sure that we'll do our letter of appeal between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is the big donation time for the year.
I think we've talked about this before, but I think for that, we should identify some high target individuals and send them a different letter. Because there are certainly people in this town who can donate more than, $25. So.
Yes. I would love to get somebody who knows those people. And I think that the opportunity to do the petitions has made us start creating a list of who those people might be. But so that we have a mailing list for who those people are and how to target them and reach out to them and do a little bit more outreach to big donors that we may not be reaching just through a postcard in the mail. And then I didn't realize that the Stissing Center does a square dance already. So I had a square dance idea and then realized it was already being used, and they do plan to do it this year despite the renovations at the Stissing Center. So like I said, I don't like to compete with other nonprofits. I consider the same thing with a craft fair, which the Firehouse is doing. So trying to keep things unique, and but also giving not trying to step on the other toes of other nonprofits and charities in town that need the support as well. So the Friends, which I talked to Jean about this, they used to do the Victorian tea at Mashomic. That's an idea that we could potentially tap back into. I don't think that the Friends, unless things have changed, Jean, I don't think that they're planning to bring that back soon. But also I think that Mashomic Center,
In our group.
yeah. But I know Mashomic's under different administration, but Alice is event coordinator at Mashomic, so we do have it in there.
Right.
Yeah, and
You
I
have
belong there, so I
you-
can, I can reach out to them as well if we want to do that.
Right. And then the other idea while I was thinking about Mashomic was, okay, maybe not a Victorian tea, but the biggest fundraiser I see that everybody does, including Rojan, Hudson, why am I blanking today? A lot of the other libraries, they bring in, a good $50,000 and up is galas and galas. And we could do a winter gala. It's a lot of coordination. And I don't know when the best time for it would be, maybe January. I don't even know if January is a good time of it. It's after Christmas. But I'm just trying to bounce around some ideas. And even if we're not doing them immediately, these are things that we need to plan for, even if they're just next year's fundraisers.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to throw those out there and see what we thought.
I like it. Lots of good
Yeah.
ideas.
Well,
Okay. Of course. We're up for Jean now.
I think your pocket dial, please,
Not
answering.
I don't think so it's okay. You're all set, Alexis?
Yeah, unless anybody has any questions or feedback.
Do you want to scan through Patrick's comments?
Yeah, so this is Patrick's comments. He says, regarding fundraising options, my questions are, what is the most cost-effective? Silent auctions are fun, but they are administratively a hassle. I agree with that. What are the largest businesses in Pine Plains? Does Hudson Floors give us money? No, not that I can think of to answer his question. I don't think Hudson Floors gives us money.
I put together an Excel doc of all of the businesses that we should be going after, which I can send to you if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Not fun, but direct appeals to local businesses and local individuals might take fewer resources and result in more money and less time.
Mhm.
And then he said the gala idea he likes. There is no local gala, but let's do it before SS does.
I think he meant Stisson Center, right?
Need the SC.
No, he
does.
said
Yeah,
SS.
probably. He said SS, yeah. I think that might be the Stisson Center.
Okay,
I think a gala would be easier to organize than a auction, frankly. If we're gonna tackle something somewhat more, I guess you could say high end. I know that Rojan, I want to say tickets started at $175 a
Well, you
person.
could do a gala and a silent auction. I mean, if you're gonna do the gala and you're gonna have people there, you can
Still
could
have
have a
small
silent
silent
auction. I mean,
auction.
it's kind of, it's sort of ripe for the picking at that
Mhm.
point, right?
Yep.
So,
Right. But I'll also need help organizing all that. So if somebody wants to hop on that choo-choo train, curious, since you have a list already, you might be there.
I have a couple of names to add on the big donor
I can
list.
find my list.
But these are just ideas right now. I just want to start thinking about them before the fall season hits. And the farther out we start planning these things, the better. Particularly when it comes to booking spaces. One thing I realized this spring is that we're definitely post-COVID and people are out and they're busy and they're booking. So I'm having trouble booking the community center for anything right now. I just sent off 4 forms and got them back today, and 2 of my dates are not available. And I called her before I even sent the forms off. And just in the time that I called her and sent the forms, they've already been booked. So you know, it just made me realize that if we're going to plan these things, we need to plan them probably starting for big events. We need to start planning 6 months out. So
Okay,
that's it for me. Everything else you guys have, unless you have questions.
So we had a really great book sale. I had plenty of help, including Carrie's son
Jake.
and Claire.
Yeah.
I saw you
yeah.
moving the table around.
Yeah.
But I was really proud of our little group because we had the whole thing back down into the basement Tuesday by noon. So we did some right after the sale. And Paul was very helpful. He went down in the basement and took Jake and they organized everything. So it was done very nicely.
He's the
I have
Tetris
this-
master, yeah.
And yeah, we had help with setup, we had help, you know. During the sale, we had help sorting beforehand, so that all went really well. The best sale we ever had was after COVID. We had a lot of dealers come to that one. We had 3 dealers, 3 or 4 people come early this time and spend money. But we made, this is our second best in terms of what we made. We made to date $1,563, which is good. Our best one was $2,000. So I'm happy with that. And I'm always, should we charge more? Should we not charge more? But I kind of feel like it's a service to the town and to people. And it gets books in the hands of people that can't afford, maybe, and people that can afford, but they usually throw in a little extra money. So it's always something to think about. The bag sale goes very well. The last 2 hours. We had a lot of people come in and buy a bag full of books. The idea being to get the books out. Now we do have a lot of books left over and we've already started scanning and we boxed them up today. And Annie's in charge of this now, so she's gonna do the labels and call the company and when they come and pick up, then we'll do the whole process over again. So we're trying to choose books to scan that we don't think people will buy here necessarily, so, which is just a judgment call, but anyhow, that's what we're doing. And yeah, I was really happy with the whole thing. Any questions about the book sale? No.
And those scanned books, those are donated? Is that, where do they go from here?
They go to Baker and Taylor, and they tell us to divide the books into 2 groups, green and pink. The green boxes of books, they give us credit for to buy books.
Okay,
So hopefully we'll be doing that.
And the
awesome.
pink, so what is the
The
pink?
pink, they either donate, they recycle, they turn
Okay.
it into paper.
Carpet?
Got it.
They
Yep,
get it out of our hands.
Yeah. perfect.
In the
Yeah,
past.
and they
we've
do
done-
properly. They do properly recycle them so they don't go to waste, which was my big thing about just throwing books away. I just breaks my librarian heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really only throw the ones that are disgusting away, but
Yes.
or what they don't take. They don't really take romance. I mean, that real romance.
Harlequin.
They won't even shred those, huh?
With Fabio on the cover.
No, and they don't take media either. And media is becoming less and less sellable anyhow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm happy with how it all turned out. And we, as I said, I think we counted, once we counted the people who were working and helping, we counted like 248 people that came to this sale.
Wow.
And especially Saturday. Was really, really slammed. It's great. Any questions about the book sale? Anybody?
Mhm.
Okay.
Probably
No,
repeat
thank you.
people coming every year, right? I mean,
Yes, people come every year. They look forward to it.
Yeah.
And we have people that come early and pay an extra $10 and get their first pick of all the books. And then we get, friends are free for that. If you're a member of the Friends, you can come if you want to early. And we also get teachers, or who is the woman, Alexis, that works in Catskill? She a library teacher or something? Who comes and buys
Yeah.
the,
She was actually she was the children's librarian at Northeast Millerton Library. Kristen McClune, yes. She's now a elementary school librarian, I believe. And she comes and loads up on our children's books because she's trying to help children build their home libraries. So
And also-
basically,
yeah.
yeah, so she did a program at the end of the year where when they bring their overdue books back, for every book that they bring back, she gives them a book for free. So she's come in multiple times now and bought like three to 4 bags of books from
Right.
Jean.
And also Erin Kernan, who's the librarian at Seymour Smith. She came and got bags full because she does a book exchange too over there. And we've had other teachers, I don't know if they came this year, but other teachers who come and really stock up. So it's nice.
Awesome.
Also, our Lunch and Learn this month is with Lenora. Did she just pronounce her name Champagne? Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's doing a writing, how to write a play, a screenplay. And that is on the 23rd, Friday. At noon, at 12:30. Also, we're doing, I think, this was mentioned maybe before, but we're doing the adult summer reading incentives to various restaurants in town, gift card. And also, Alexis, if you tell me which program we donated money towards at the camp, maybe we'd get someone to do a picture down there, a photo.
Yeah, I'll have to go through
Pick one out.
I'll go through the list.
That's it. Do you have any questions, Kenda? And anything to?
No, my question, what day is the Lunch and Learn day?
Friday, the 23rd, which is this Friday.
This Friday. That's what I thought I heard. Thank you. Excellent. That's it. Thanks.
Oh, and I did want to also thank Annie, give her some kudos, because the garden club was having their talk upstairs, and it started at 2. And I had a hunch that Annie would be coming back from that event she was doing next to Stewart's at the. So the woman could not get her computer to work, her technology to work at all. So I ran downstairs and sure enough, Annie was coming in. So she graciously came upstairs and worked on it and finally got it to work. So they were very grateful because they had a whole bunch of people sitting there waiting for like 45 minutes for something to happen.
Oh, no.
So that was great.
Okay. I think we hit most of the financial planning.
I have
stuff.
one thing to mention that I forgot to mention.
Okay,
I'm proud to say that Berkshire Taconic has funded the Legit program, which is the Libraries Empower Greatness in Teens program for $5,500.
Nice.
So we'll be getting that grant. I just got the notification I think the day I left.
Mm,
So they have some clarification. They said it's funded. They have some clarification questions, and I'll have to do follow-up reporting on it, of course, but we'll be able to launch that program starting
What was-
when the
Sorry.
no what
What was
What's
the
your-
name? Berkshire? What? Did you say it?
it's through Berkshire Berkshire Taconic, BERKSHI.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's the programs for Legit and LEGIT.
Mhm.
And then so we'll be starting that when the kids get back to school. Me and Kaylee have already been plotting that whole program out. So I think she'll be very excited to get that news when I get back. The other thing I want to mention is that the county released a new digital infrastructure grant. Unfortunately, they're a little late in doing this because they tightened the scope on this. So mainly to offer parking lot access Wi-Fi, which pretty much every library did already during COVID. So I reached out to Harlan just before I left, and he called while I was away. I got a message from Annie saying that he called, but we've been corresponding via email, but also the DCDA, the Dutchess County Directors Association, is making a pitch to the county to broaden the scope for this for more projects, because frankly, none of us can use this money for this project because most of us already have it. I know Tom Lawrence from Poughkeepsie did a poll, and I think there were 2 of the 26 libraries that didn't have parking lot Wi-Fi access. So they're trying to have the county broaden the scope of this grant a little bit more so that we could tap into some money for it for other digital equity and inclusion that it was previously not allowing us to spend money on. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Unfortunately, when the county releases things like this, we get like 2 weeks to apply for it. So it's due technically, I think this first or second week in July. And I'm hoping that we get some more clarification on what will be allowed and not allowed, or they'll extend the due date on that so that if I have time to, so that we have time to write a grant application for it. Okay. That was my 2 updates I forgot to mention.
any marketing
Sign, no.
sign?
I mean, I spoke to the old guy, he can't do it, I gotta go to another person now, but it'll happen. Hopefully next time. The Millerton, the park has a really nice new sign, I think I might have mentioned this already, anyway, so I tried to figure out who made that sign. They don't know who made the sign because the contractor had the sign made. I spoke to the people on Millerton at the park and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it's not, I haven't abandoned it, but I have not fully accomplished anything yet.
Okay.
The website is working. There's a link. I think I shared it with Kiri and Claire. I was hoping it would be up by June 15th, and he called me right before I left and said I can't. It's actually the board meeting minutes and agendas that he's like, this is taking me forever to do. So I sent him all the files and everything, and he said, let's just push this off. I don't want to launch you a website that doesn't have all your board information on it. That's, you know, too important. And I said, I agree. So we just left that alone. But there is a demo link out there if you want to see it. The design's pretty much done. We're putting in filler content at this point. I can send it around, or Claire and Kiri can share
Yeah.
that link.
I
It'll
can-
be out before July. So.
Anything else under facilities and capital improvements or investments?
Just the lights.
Just the lights?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't done anything more about the policy review, so I'm gonna kick that in. We've lost Patrick, so we're not gonna do bylaw review. Is there any new business?
Actually, yes,
Yes,
we need to have a financial meeting for the budget.
Oh, that's
So-
right. In July, right?
Yeah.
we do.
I will say that we got some clarification on this, and since we already
Like-
have a draft budget ready to go for next year, we're gonna make a few modifications to it. I did warn Ted about this. I'm actually breaking down the hours into a schedule that makes more sense for us to sustain a larger library operations schedule. And I know that we had some questions about whether or not we should create two budgets, one if it passes, one if it doesn't passes. And it was advised to us that no, let's just stick with the budget that we created and present it to the town as we decide. And if they can help us meet the gap, if it doesn't pass, great. If they can't, then we'll have to sit down and rework the budget again if the budget vote does not pass.
Yeah, the thought on Rebecca's, when Alexis and I were talking to Rebecca the other day, was that it creates too much dissonance and misunderstandings when we're talking about, we need this money, and then we say, oh, but we can really get by with this, or,
Mhm.
you know, that now that we've put out the number, we kind of need to live with that number,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
budget's
that
the
makes
budget.
sense.
Yep.
That's what we're asking for.
so,
If we get it, great. If we don't, then we'll have to rework after that.
that's right,
Yeah.
that's right, so.
But I think that we should make that budget robust for people's requests. The hours, particularly in the last 2 months, people keep telling me, why are you not open more? I
Yep.
don't know why I keep getting bombarded with that question this last month. Since this whole budget process started, which has been convenient because it's a time to say, you know, well, we're trying to do that, you know, this is how we're trying to do that. And I try to give them the proper information for that. But I don't want to say I'm sick of answering that question, because I think all of us would love for the library to be open more. And I understand their frustration feeling like that they can't come into the library at a time that's convenient for them. But I definitely have that response on auto reply in my brain. So I would love to be able to provide people with the hours that I think they need in our community. So my point to that is I've already warned Ted that I'll have a sheet to him with a breakdown of what those hours will look like, how much it will cost. Mary is considering dialing back her hours a little bit further. So playing around with the idea of, you know, do we want to bring in another part-time clerk? Do we want to do a teen intern through our own? You know, these are all things that we can discuss at the table, but I'll get you like full-blown projections for that, so that we can sustain a better library operation hours.
Well, when people vote, get out there and vote. Vote for that 414 and you'll get your hour.
Oh,
Where did we end up with the trifold handout? Were we gonna just print it in-house or get it printed up?
She's frozen. No, no.
No, she's blinking.
Blinking.
She is frozen, but it's not the video.
am I here? Sorry, my Wi-Fi is getting a little bit clunky
Okay,
here.
the FAQ handout, we had.
Yeah, I think it's done.
Really?
I think I have the final copy of it. I just haven't mass printed it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the content of it is done, and I know the website demo already has the FAQ part up.
Okay,
So.
And where are we gonna print it? Are we gonna print it here or a better paper stock so it feels a little bit more?
We could do either. If we want to print it elsewhere, it's going to cost us. If we print it in the library, it's costing us in ink. So that's a great question.
I think, I
Sorry.
think
go
I'd
ahead.
like it to look a little.
More
A
professional.
little nice, yeah. And then we can all carry it around and hand it out
Right.
to our friends and family. You know, and answer the questions that they're asking. Yeah, okay. I think that's about everything, isn't it? Anybody else got anything to say?
Mhm.
Good. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
You have one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. 8:16.
Hold on, that was
The
Darren.
first in a while, but in the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Did I hear Carrie as a second?
Yeah, Carrie was the second.
You.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thanks, everybody.
Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis.
Alexis,
Thank
thank
you. Thank you all. Bye.